Good morning all. In last class we discussed about the electric vehicle layout and electric vehicle configurations. In today's session we are going to see about the available forms of renewable energy sources to power up the electric vehicles for its effective mobilizations. In this class, we will see about the various energy sources required for the electric vehicle drive system. So, which comes under the course outcome 1, which says about the layout of electric vehicle, system components and electronic control systems, under which the lesson outcome 1 is to discuss about the layout of an electric vehicle, under which specific outcome 3 is to identify the various energy sources available for the electric vehicle drive systems. Next. So, in this class, we will see about the electric vehicle layout and electric vehicle energy sources. Electric vehicle layout, already in the previous class itself, we had been discussed in detail, and we will see it how the energy sources are integrated with the electric grid systems in the electric vehicle layout and how far they will be supportive to drive the electric vehicles. Next. So this is the electric vehicle layout. So overall components detail in the electric vehicle layout that we had been strongly discussed in the previous class itself. So we know that this is the grid systems and this is the electric vehicle drive system. So this electric grid system will act as a source to the electric vehicle drive system whenever this electric grid supplies the electric power to the electric drive systems. This already we discussed in the previous classes itself. So now today we will see about what are all the energy sources are possible to be integrated with this electric grid system so that this electric grid system can provide the electric power to the electric vehicle drive systems. So they are basically two types of energy sources available. One is the conventional energy sources and another one is the non-conventional energy sources or the renewable energy sources. We know that conventional energy sources will always depend upon the fossil fuel for its electricity generation, whereas the non-conventional energy sources or the renewable energy sources does not depend upon the fossil fuel for its electricity generation. Yes, conventional energy sources dependent upon the fossil fuels for the electricity generation, then it will emit the large amount of carbon dioxide emission to the environment. Hence, the environment will get polluted due to this. So, we are going or we are preferable to the renewable energy sources or non-conventional energy sources only, since they dependent upon the nature resources for electricity generation. They will never pollute the environment during its electricity generation. So let us see what are all the renewable energy sources will be supportive to this electric vehicle drive system for its mobilization from one place to the another place. So we know that renewable energy sources does not create any pollution to the environment since they depend upon the natural resources for its electricity for its generation of electricity. So the available form of renewable energy sources are the solar and wind. First, these two, the solar and wind, are the primary energy sources in case of renewable energy sources. So they are available. The solar, we know that the solar energy can be generated with help of the electricity can be generated from the solar power plant with help of the sunlight as an resources, and wind energy we can generate in wind energy system. We can generate the electricity, with help of wind in the wind power generation systems. Okay, so apart from this, they are the hydropower, tidal energy, biomass energy, and so on. So, whenever we first, the primary energy resources are the solar power and the wind power. We know that in solar power, when sunlight falls upon the solar panel or a solar module, then it generates the electricity. So the generated electric power from the solar panel or the solar module is DC form, but the available grid system is a AC grid system. Hence, we have to make use of the power electronic inverter system to convert the generated DC power from the solar power plant into the AC power before integrating into the electric grid system. Next primary source is in the renewable energy source is a wind energy system. So in wind energy power generation, so when wind blows, the wind turbine will rotated due to coupling of the wind turbine and the electricity generator. Hence the electricity will be generated in form of the AC. So it is as the electricity is generated from the form of in the form of AC, we have to condition and control that AC power generated from the wind power plant before we are integrating into the electric grid systems. So we need to use again a power electronic converter system in order to control and condition the AC power generated from the wind power plant before we are integrating into the electric grid systems. So these are all the solar power generation and wind power generation are the primary energy resources in the renewable energy sources. So this grid will provide the electric supply to the electric vehicle drive system when this grid is acting as only a source to the electric vehicle drive system. So next, so apart from the solar and wind, hydropower generating station. In hydropower generating station, whenever the water flows from the upper reservoir to the lower reservoir, then the kinetic energy of the water is converted into the electricity. In the tidal energy, in sea, the tidal waves will be generated due to the climatical conditions. These tidal waves are allowed to the turbine generator set. Hence the electricity will be generated from the tidal resources. Next one is the biomass energy. Biomass energy, the organic waste materials are recycled in the biomass power plant and they can be converted into the electricity. So as the biomass organic waste materials are recycled, then it will reduce the pollution to the environment by making use of all the organic waste material as a resources to generate the electricity in biomass power plant. So these are all the idea of the renewable energy sources in available form. So we know that all the renewable energy sources are dependent upon the nature resources for generating the electricity. Hence, it is required to store the electricity generated from the renewable energy sources. So we know that whatever may be the solar or wind or hydropower plant or tidal energy or biomass power plant, so all the renewable energy sources are intermittent and stochastic in nature, since they are time varying. As they are depend upon the climate situation or scenario, they are stochastic or intermittent in nature. So this makes to store the energy either in the batteries or a flywheel or a supercapacitors, since they have the enough capability to store the electric energies. Next, so this is a wind farm. So wind farm, we know that we can generate AC power from the wind farm, and it can be integrated into the electric vehicle. It can be integrated into the electric grid system by means of the power electronic converter system for the purpose of condition the and control the electric signal, for purpose of condition and control the electric signal. Next one is the solar power plant. This is a solar panels in which when the sunlight falls upon it, the DC electricity will be generated, so which can be converted into the AC form of electricity by means of the power electronic inverter systems, and then we can integrate this AC into the electric grid systems. So this is a, here we can make a hydropower plant. So when water falls upon from upper reservoir to the lower reservoir, then the kinetic energy of the water converted into the electricity. So these are all the available form of the renewable energy sources. So we have to prefer only the renewable energy sources, as we know that it is a green energy sources, since it does not pollute the environment in any cost. So we can keep the environment clean and tidy while generating the electricity when we are by using the renewable energy sources.